If your first instinct when seeing a character in your player's backstory that's still alive is to kill them, stop. This video is for you. When I'm starting a game, I'll often come with a pitch or a pre-made adventure to give my players an idea of what kind of characters to bring to the table. When those characters come in, they'll often include multi-page backstories that are varying levels of tragic. Occasionally, they will contain someone who was not killed when the character's village was attacked, and that always makes me very happy, because now they can feature in the story. Don't give backstory characters the Disney parent treatment. Too many DMs see any character left alive in a backstory as a juicy target for murder. It's like the player was tidying up their backstory characters and you're like, oops, missed a spot. Here, let me clean that up for you. Your prep sheet isn't just a death note with all your player characters' friends written in it. These characters can be wonderful tools to connect your PCs to the world. Killing them is one way to do it, but you should absolutely talk with your player about it first. Your player left them alive for a reason. You should at least find out what that reason is. You can use backstory characters to connect your PCs to the world through that emotional connection. But that emotion doesn't have to be pain, anger, and revenge. It can be love, regret, heartbreak, pride, envy. The potential for a whole swath of wonderful storytelling can be cut short prematurely because you wanted your big bad to be a little extra bad. When I get my player's backstory, I look for these three things. Why here? Why now? What brings the character to the adventure, and what would make them want to work with the party? Plot hooks. What quests can I generate based on the character's past? Important characters. What characters feature prominently in their backstory, and how can I weave them into the adventure? When you pitch your campaign, or maybe during session 0, you can ask your players to include these elements and more. Depending on the flavor of your campaign, you can include more specific things, like what lines would your character never cross? What secrets is your character hiding? Would your character accept being brought back to life, and if so, under what circumstances? And what would cause your character to betray or leave the party? This is where your role as a DM becomes very important. Your choices about what to include from a character's backstory will help shape the story. For instance, if a character would only betray the party if it meant saving their sister's soul from service to a devil, your choice of when to weave that in becomes imperative. Too early and the party breaks up. Too late and the choice becomes obvious. You want to hit that sweet spot where it can go either way. You get to watch your PCs overcoming internal struggles and juggling intra-party conflict, eventually overcoming it to do the impossible and save the sister without breaking the fellowship. If you want more information on crafting arcs for characters, see my last video here. If you've seen any of my other work, you know that I'm a big proponent of character leading over plot in D&D campaigns. This is because tabletop RPGs are essentially collaborative, and the story you come up with together is always going to be better than the one you came up with on your own. Even if you're running a pre-made adventure, I'd suggest prepping sessions looking less at the pre-made material and more based on previous session character moments and backstory integration. In my current campaign, I had every player send me a backstory sheet for their character. And there's no length requirement, it doesn't need to be beautiful flowing prose. It can be anything from bullet points to a 10-page backstory. In my campaign, I ended up with 18 pages for 5 characters, which is a bit excessive, but my players are very extra and I love them. You want to extract 2 key elements from these backstory sheets. 1. Important characters like family, friends, rivals, and nemesis. These characters are the most important thing to pull out, as they will be the NPCs at your disposal and end up filling out the dramatis personae of your game. They will also do most of the legwork in integrating your player character into the world. 2. Key life events, like when and why they decided to become an adventurer, and what happened to set them on this path. These elements help shape your world, literally creating the status quo that your adventure will live in. You may recoil when hearing me say that a player is making world-changing decisions unilaterally before the game even starts. But let me ease your mind, and then slap you across the face with a reality check. First, it's not a unilateral decision. As the DM, you can approve, deny, and offer changes to any element on your player's backstory sheet prior to the game. But second, it's not just your world anymore. Several other real creative minds are living in it, and the sooner you cop to accepting their creative input, the sooner your world will feel deeper and more realized. From these key elements, you'll create a backstory integration plan. For each character, pick the elements from their backstory that will show up in the early game, in the midpoint, and towards the climax. Depending on what it is, it's not always possible to bring in character backstory elements in the early game, but I encourage you to try and at least do something to suggest that their stuff is coming up. For instance, even if a character's father is a celestial who wants to bring them up to heaven, but can't until they prove themselves, you can start giving them small trials to start their journey towards the guy in the sky, even though they won't get there for a long time. A very important piece of advice that I learned the hard way when running a game. Have your players send you their backstory sheet for you to review it. Give them a chance to make any changes you need them to make, then set a date and time to lock them down. After that point, no changes can be made to a character's backstory. Copy their Google document into your own so they can't sneak in any little changes. Your players aren't trying to mess you up, but as the game goes on, they may want to edit and change little pieces of their backstory without telling you. This prevents them from doing that. It's not that you shouldn't be willing to adjust things if they come to you and ask, but if the player makes a change without telling you and then you bring in a bit of their backstory and they say, hold on, that character is a half-orc queen, not a dwarven pirate anymore, and you have to throw out the entire nautical adventure you had planned, let's just say avoiding that is best for everyone involved. I hope this video gave you a good idea about how to integrate a character's backstory into the game without needing to just kill off anyone still kicking around. The character should be the story of the game you're playing, and you shouldn't just burn their backstory to fuel the plot engine you already had planned. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and share this video with your gaming group. My name is Ben DeHart, hopefully out here saving NPCs one video at a time. See ya.